Saginaw, Michigan, a small town once known for its wealth in the lumbering industry. Fast forward, the city is now plagued with financial hardships. Along with those hardships comes a declining school system. A woman by the name of Felesia Harrel felt a call to help inner-city kids. But her story is far from perfect. A life plagued with hardships, suicide, and heartbreaks, to launching a thriving company called College Bound Academics Learning Center that has helped her students obtain over $2.5 million in scholarships in 2016 through her program. Felesia Harrel was born in Helena, Arkansas in 1968. She was born into a family with a host of other siblings. But tragedy struck her family early in life when her mother suddenly committed suicide.
Yeah, we were living in Arkansas. It was 7 of us, and I'm the second to the youngest. And I remember playing with my sister and I. She's a year older than me, lives in Saginaw too. We were playing. We had like a Snoopy stove and a Snoopy refrigerator and all that stuff. And I remember we were playing, and for some reason, all 7 of us was at home at the same time. That's weird because I have older brothers and sisters. They're like 10 years or more older than me. We were all there, and I remember her being in a room, and all of a sudden I remember hearing, a noise, like a firecracker. And then I looked, and as I was looking, she just fell back on the bed. From that point, I don't remember anything else. I don't know what happened after that. It's like I blocked all that stuff out. We were not allowed to go to her funeral, so that's something that has bothered me. As far as my dad, never met him. We communicated on the phone a few times, not a few years ago, but I was so disgusted with him because when we talked, it wasn't a good thing. I'm not saying it wasn't a good thing. It wasn't a nice thing on my part because I got right to it. Why didn't you come and get me? And I just didn't understand, and he said he didn't know where I was at and all this other stuff, but I guess like right around this time of the year, this year I'm feeling it. Father's Day, I'm like, whatever, let's just get past this day. Mother's Day is usually a couple weeks before I act a little different. Like I don't want to be bothered. Darian, he tries everything to keep me laughing, and you'll see in the statuses on Facebook, don't be sitting there in the dark. It's just, I don't want to be bothered. That's just a holiday that I don't like. I don't like the summertime because that's when the worst of it took place.
After her mother's life ended tragically, Felesia and her siblings had no other choice but to move to Michigan to an extended family member's home. One would think things would get better when a family had endured so much in life. In this situation, that truly was not the case.
So whichever relative you ended up with determined how well you were treated. Some were well-to-do, BV people at the time. BV was the up-and-coming thing. One ended up there, 2 in Ohio. And my sister, my brother, and I ended up right in Saginaw, with my uncle. Terrible experience. We experienced being in a household without any electricity, any running water, sometimes no Christmas gifts, school clothes. When you get to high school, school clothes are a big thing. No school clothes. My uncle worked in the plant, so at times we didn't have lunch money because he didn't bring us any. We did not qualify for free lunch, so it was pretty rough. I was 3. I didn't know what was going on. All I knew is that I wanted my mom. The only real memory I have of her is the day she died, and I remember my brother was riding me on the handlebars of his car, and my foot got caught in a spoke, and I still had a scar on my ankle to this day. And I remember my mom standing over the crib. I don't know why I was in a crib at 3. She was standing over me and singing to me. I remember that part. And I don't know why this lady gave me pickle juice. I hate pickles. That's probably why I hate pickles. But coming here, I was confused. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what was going on. You can't explain that to a 3-year-old. That suddenly you're taking thousands of miles from everything they know to this unfamiliar place. So my stomach was really at a nervous stomach and just got sick real easy, and I couldn't handle greasy foods, and I still can't. So I'm sitting in a high chair. We were at the dinner table, and every time I would eat my aunt's food, I would get sick. Throw up at the table, and I would get a whooping every time. I'm 3. I can't get off the high chair, so how can I? And you don't know what's coming. You 3 as adults. We don't even know when it's coming. But I also had a nervous problem where I would, I was just 3, so I still went to bed. and she would get mad at me for that. So what she ended up doing, I don't know if you have a dog or how they train dogs from urinating in the house. You take the dog and you put the dog's face in the urine or feces or whatever to keep them from doing that again because they don't like that smell. Well, I didn't know this. My older brother told me that they ended up sending him back to Arkansas because it was three of us in that household. My sister, myself, and my brother. My brother was very protective. He's like 3 years older than me. And he would fight my aunt and my uncle because he was trying to protect me. Well, he ended up getting sent back to Arkansas because she took my face and she smashed my face into the mattress so I could smell the urine and keep me from urinating in the bed. So he just went nuts and just was fighting her.
Growing up in a strained environment without her parents in the home, she attended Arthur High School, where she eventually graduated, but in her senior year became pregnant with her first daughter, Brittany. After becoming pregnant with her first child, she became alienated. A lot of close people turned their back on her. She became homeless once again.
Her grandmother came along, her dad's mother, and wanted her to stay with them. So I stayed in a house. It was my brother-in-law's house. And it was empty. I had heat and everything, but there was no furniture, no food. I remember taking trash bags or clothes and putting blankets on top of them to make a bed. There were rats in the house, and I was totally terrified of rats. And I didn't have any money, any food, so I remember eating peanut butter crackers because, I had signed up for help from the state. That's a long process. But I went through that. And I think the moment that really got me is when we did finally get our place, my daughter and I, Brittany and I, and she came we didn't have any furniture or anything, so I had just moved, and I was so depressed. And she came in with big old eyes. She said, "We're going to be okay, Mommy." So that, I think having her really helped me because I have this kid that's dependent on me, this cute little big old eyes, long pretty hair. She's dependent on me, so she was looking for me to be her example. So I think Brittany had a huge part in that and just the stubbornness of me.
With pure determination, Felesia fully excelled through school, earning multiple degrees from Delta and Saginaw Valley University, going through school, and while also being a mother to her 4 children. Felesia felt a deep calling. She always felt compelled to work with inner city youth. That is when she started College Bound Academics Learning Center.
Because I get tired of seeing so many student athletes that have scholarship offers but low test scores. So I decided to open a business. It was actually 4 years ago. I was tutoring a kid at the library, and then another parent saw me, so I kept adding kids on, and I found myself going from Hoyt to Zoll to, Barnes and Nobles. I'm like, this is crazy. I'm all over the place because I was trying to accommodate where they live, their area. So I said, well, I need to get a building, and I found a building on Michigan. Went ahead and did that for about a year, and then I ended up seeing the sign for this building. I said, okay. Talked to the guy. He has been a blessing. He's like my granddad that I never knew. He's actually my mentor that's actually going to pay for my grad school books the whole time. So that's a blessing. But I went back into subbing. So I was subbing at Arthur Hill doing psych and SAT prep and credit recovery. And then I have the tutoring business. So I tutor here Monday, Thursdays, and Fridays. I have a staff, hired on some people because it got much bigger than what I thought it would. So I had to hire my staff. I have high school students that are going to be coming in, getting volunteer hours, and they'll get a small stipend. We have the food program that we're doing for the first time this year on Fridays. And then I do the summer camps at Delta as well. And then I teach year-round there, the SAT prep too. Rooms that we're remodeling, we're going to redo the blinds, but this room is going to be, it's Michigan State right now, but it's going to be an Ivy League room for the middle school kids. This is our elementary room. And if you look at the stuff on the wall, it's not typical of what you would see for preschool and kindergarten kids. We want them to see what's to come. Poetry genres, which is, they don't usually get exposed to that to middle school. Literary elements, parts of speech, punctuation, because these are things that our kids really struggle with on like their SAT English and language parts. So we get them exposed to that early. prefixes and suffixes, division, multiplication, order of operations, mode, medium, range, and mean. Things that they won't normally see until down the road. Like I said, the periodic table of elements, states of matter, scientific method. Here they're usually learning their ABCs and sight words and learning how to read all at the same time. It's working. Our youngest was, he's just graduated today from kindergarten. So he ended up with all A's this school year, reading. He's one of the top readers in his classroom. And when he came, he didn't even know how to read.
With a growing business, she was able to help many Saginaw youth, including young and up-and-coming athletes. Her biggest achievement happened in 2016, when one of her students achieved a great honor.
You know, he just wasn't going down the right path. Waited till about his 10th grade year, and he just woke up. You know, and I had some time away from him up until this year. He ran track for me and everything, and I got in his ear back then. But we reconnected. He's like, I really got to get this score up, but he just didn't think he could do it. And he knows about my story, and I said, you know, everything is right on this. If we were here doing their final session the day before they took the test, I can't do this, I can't do this. He was so nervous. It's like, yes, you can, because you have to. Everything is riding on this. He's like, wow, why do you put it like that? I said, because it is. You know, sense of urgency. And I said, when you play your sport, don't you do the drills? Yes. Do you go to practice? Yes. Do you study tapes? Yes. So have you did your drills that I taught you? Yes. Did you do the practice test? Yes. So you know everything you're supposed to do, right? He said, yes, okay, just go do it. But I don't think I would have had the same results from him if I hadn't experienced some things and shared it with him. He probably would have been like, what do you know? But I knew that everything was, because his mom didn't have the money, and if he didn't get that score up, he wouldn't have gotten that scholarship. So he wouldn't have been going away to school. But he contacted me on Facebook, and he said he wanted to start coming, so him and 2 other students started coming, because I had like clusters of kids coming, because everything is surrounded by their schedule because they're so busy. And I had 3 coming during that time slot. And with my ACT and SAT prep courses, it's no nonsense. If you're going to waste my time, keep your money and don't waste my time. So he would come, and it got to the point where he didn't have the money to pay for it. You know, he just didn't have that support. And I said, are you going to be serious about this? He said, yes. I said, well, just come. I sponsored him myself. And they had to do practice tests with the ACT. There are 7 practice tests, so it's like 35 different sections that they had to do in 10 weeks, just like the higher kids. That's why they did so well during that time when we were going through that. But anyway, he did the practice test. He would contact me on the weekends. I'm not sure about this. What strategy do I do for this? Because once they sign up for my course, they have 24-hour access to me 7 days a week. So there is no chill. You can, at 2 o'clock in the morning, they know I'm up. They contact me. I'm going to respond back. Can you look at this essay, or what should I do about this? So he did everything I asked him to do. And he went in. We had that last, session before his test, the day before. And after the test, I'm ready to go. Like, okay, good luck, y'all. See you later. But I saw it was bothering him, and the other 2 as well, but they just wouldn't say anything. So we had a pep talk for about 30 minutes after the session. And like I told him, I said, you got to do this. This is everything. I prepared you for this. You are ready. And he had everything he needed. He got the scores back. And I knew that they had got scores back, but he didn't tell me what it was. I said, maybe he didn't get his score up. And I stopped him. He was in my psychology class. I said, what score did you get? Did you get your letter? Yeah, I got it. Okay. He said, I'm going to wait and open it Sunday. This is like Tuesday. What do you mean Sunday? He thought Sunday because it's the 7th. I'm like, dude, if you don't go home and open that. And I was like, I need to know so I can adjust what I'm doing to help the next student. Well, he didn't make it to Sunday. The counselor saw him in the hallway and said, congratulations. He didn't know what she was talking about. Come to find out, he had went above where his target score was. So he came to class, he had hugged me, he was like, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm like, okay. So I told him, I always ask for permission before I highlight them. I said, kids need to see this. They need to know that it's possible, and everybody know him and what he experienced, growing up. And to see him make it, even my kids, they know my 21st century kids, I had them after school program. It's like, who? Because he was just off the chain. So that was a highlight of this whole thing for me. We had an assembly, academic assembly, so I dressed up, they want you to dress up as staff. And I sat there and they called his name. I said, oh, he got probably second, I promise, I'm thinking, because we hadn't talked about what he applied for. I told him to apply for things, but we hadn't talked about that part because he was focused on his score, his test score. And they called his name and they said $100,000. And I sat there for a minute because I didn't quite. And I looked at the other teachers. He hid it from me. It was a surprise. So he came to class the next day. I'm like, dude. He's like, yep. He was looking for me to be there because, I wanted to I stood up, I clapped for him, I was yelling, I wanted to do cartwheels down the aisleway because our kids just don't always see that. And he is like a perfect example of hard work does pay off.
A mother who has overcome the odds and is making groundbreaking impact in her community. She has overcome obstacles that have earned her a place among influential leaders. Her name is Felesia Harrel, and this has been your shot of inspiration.
But that's what I would tell them. Don't give up.
Awesome. And the cue.
So I just want you to, look in the camera and say this has been Felesia Harrel. I always mess it up. Felesia Harrel on Coffee Talk, your shot of inspiration.
Okay, this has been. Okay, this has been Felesia Harrel, your shot of inspiration on Coffee Talk.
Okay, we're just gonna switch it. So this has been Felesia Harrel
Really
on
Felesia.
Coffee Talk, your shot of inspiration. Because Coffee Talk is the show, and then your shot of inspiration is like our working tagline right now.
Okay, this has been Felesia Harrel
On Coffee Talk, your shot of inspiration.
Okay. It's really Felesia.
Oh, see, okay,
I'm
say it. Say it. Yes, say it.
Okay, this has been Felesia Harrel on Coffee Talk, your shot of inspiration.
Awesome.